Hi guys, welcome to another music class video today. What we're going to be doing is you're going to be creating your own rhythms today. Now you'll have a classroom assignment that you'll need to turn in today. You have a week to get that in. So today what we're going to do is we're going to try and go over those rhythms. I'm going to show you a few examples of those rhythms and then to help you with your assignment. If you need anything, go ahead and email me at mgunter@utnhs.com or try to Google me. You can use Google Meet and text me as well. That'll help you get to me. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the basis or basically the house in this example. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a staff. Okay, the staff is basically a house or a mansion that can go on forever. It has as many rooms as you want. It can do whatever you want. It's got, you can think of it that way. You can also think of it as like a huge sub sandwich with no toppings or anything like that. It's very simple. So the staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Those spaces and lines will be for pitches that we'll put on a little bit later. We'll take care of that a little bit later in our next lesson when we discuss about pitches. So when it comes to a rhythm, the staff has this big mansion, has this big house, okay? And in this house, he's got multiple, huge, has many rooms as he wants. The problem is the staff needs to figure out how he's going to decorate the rooms or how many people are going to go in those rooms and things like that. So he hires somebody. And who he hires is a 4/4 time signature. This time signature tells the staff and says, hey, I'm going to split the rooms up. I'm going to split them up into measures. And he has some friends to help him with that. So what he's going to do is he's going to call his friends called the bar lines. The bar lines are going to split the house or the staff into different rooms, or what we call them in the music world, measures. This would be measure 1, this would be measure 2, and this would be measure 3. So every time you would see a bar line, you would split them up into groups or rooms. Now, according to the time signature, the top number up here, we are only allowed to have 4 beats per room. Not 4 notes, 4 beats. You could have 2 notes in the room or in the measure, and it would fulfill 4 beats, okay? It just all really depends. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a rhythm only using a quarter note and a quarter rest. Now, if you remember right, the quarter note is worth 1 beat, and the quarter rest is also worth 1 beat. Okay? So what I would like you to do is I would like you to create a rhythm using the quarter note and the quarter rest. So if you look at my example, here's my example of a 4/4 rhythm using a quarter note and a quarter rest. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to stop the video and I would like you to create your own 4/4 rhythm using a quarter rest, a quarter note. Again, you need to make sure they have 4 beats in the measure, okay? Once you have done that, go ahead and start the video back up. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to do a half note, and we're going to add to that. So we're going to create another 4/4 rhythm using a half note. Now, to remember right, the half note is worth 2 beats, okay? So the half note is worth 2 beats. That means in my second measure here, if I was going to create, I'm going to create another rhythm. It's going to be, I'm going to go with this type of rhythm. As you can see, I have created another 4/4 rhythm. The half note has 2 beats. The quarter rest has one beat, and the other quarter rest has one beat. So as you can see, I've created a 4/4 measure. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another 4/4 measure, but this time I'm going to add the 8th note. Now, the 8th note is pretty simple to draw. All you're going to do is draw like a quarter note, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add a little flag, just like that. Now, the 8th note is worth half a beat. If you would like, you can put two of those together and create that, which is 2 8th notes. So that would be 2 8th notes, and that would count as one beat, okay? So if I come on over here in my third measure, I'm going to use my 8th notes. So I'm going to go, let's create one here. And again, these all can be different. They can be totally different. It's up to you. They don't have to be the same. And I'm going to do that. As you can see, I have now created a 4/4 rhythm using 8th note, a quarter rest, and a half note. This here would equal up to 1. This would also equal up to 1. And then this would equal up to 2, which then equals up to 4. Okay? So that is a 4/4 rhythm. Now, the bottom note here, or the bottom number, what that means. What that means is it says basically what note gets the beat. So for example, if there's a 4, then the quarter note would get the beat. So every time you see a quarter note, it would get one beat. If it was a 6/8, then the 8th note would get the beat. So every time you say an 8th note, it would be worth one beat. Your quarter note then would be worth 2 beats, your half note would be worth 4 beats, and your whole note would be worth 8 beats. So if we did a 6/8 measure here, and I had to have 6 beats, because the 6 on top there tells me I have to have 6 beats in this room, or in this measure, then I'm going to use a quarter note, 8th note, I'll put another 8th note in there, and let's go ahead and put another quarter note. Now what we see then is the quarter note now is worth 2, the 8th note is worth 1, and then I got another quarter note, which is 2, which gives me 6. So in all reality, I would be going da, 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 okay? But I would be going faster, da, 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 da. So that would be your 6/8. Now, if I was in 3/4, of course, then the time signature would mean I'd have to have 3 beats in the measure. The quarter note would get the beat, so every time you see a quarter note, it would get 1 beat then. So everything would kind of go back to normal as the 4/4, okay? Last but not least, I wanted to teach you real quick about 2 other symbols. The first symbol is this symbol. It's a C. So it's this right here. The C equals common time. You may see this. In many different other places, such as musical or instruments, early band, early choir, early things like that. And so you may see the C. And what that means is it's common time, which is just another way of saying 4/4. That's just another way of saying 4/4. So if you ever see a C, you're going to see that means common time. Now, for the next part, I'm going to put a C, but it's going to have a slash sign in it. Now, in reality, what you may have seen is it is a cent sign, right? But what this is saying is called a cut time. And cut time means that it's going to cut common time. Okay? So then it's going to make it a 2/2 time. Just like that. Okay? Now, What that means then is that the half note would get the beat. Okay? Everything then would be cut in half. So your half notes would be worth 1, your quarter notes then are worth a half, your eighth notes are worth a quarter, your whole notes now are worth 2. So it cuts everything in half. The problem is here with cut time is when they do it that way, they don't write it. They don't tell you, oh, that it's 1 or it's half. You have to, in your brain, kind of transform it yourself. So if I went over here and I created a 2-2 time signature, first of all, I can only have 2 beats in the measure. So for example, I could just have 2 half notes. That would equal my 2-2 because they're each worth 1 beat in a 2-2 setting, okay? Don't get confused. If it was in a 4-4 setting, they still would be worth 2 beats. But if it's in a 2-2 setting, everything's been cut in half, so now it's only worth 1. If I did another one, it would be, I'd have to have 4 of these, 4 quarter notes, because each one equals a half, okay? So that's probably the most difficult one of them all, because it is such a different beast, because what it does is it shows in the 4-4, all right? So for your assignment, I believe I have you making 3 in the 3 rhythms in 4-4, 3 of the rhythms in 6-8, and I believe 3 rhythms in the 3-4. If you have any questions or concerns, please email me. I'll help you out. I'll even create another video if you need it. So again, very simple. With the 4-4, your goal is to get 4 beats in the measure, okay? Just like I have here. In 6-8, you have to make sure there are 6 beats in the measure, but you have to remember now that the 8th note gets 1 beat now. So the 8th note gets a beat, okay? And then in that 2-2 common time, you have to now know that every note now is cut value-wise, okay? It's cut in value, okay? So again, if you were in 6-8, the quarter note now, or the quarter note would equal 2 beats, okay? The 8th note would equal 1 beat. The half note would equal 4 beats now, okay? And then the whole note would equal 8 beats, which we don't usually use, okay? We don't have to worry about that one, okay? So that's basically what we would use, is these right here, okay? For that 2-2 time, okay, the quarter note would be worth a half a beat now. The half note would be worth 1. The whole note would be worth 2. And then the 8th note would be worth a quarter. Same thing with rests. If you used rests, they would apply the same way, okay? All right. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, please email me. Get those Google assignments in. If you are a person that is in school and not doing distance learning or remote learning, you can go ahead and do this assignment if you want for extra credit. So give me a shout or give me a text if you need any help or anything like that. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'll have another video up here probably in the next week or so talking about pitches, and we'll start getting into that. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye.